What is the area of Israel? About 22,145 square kilometers. What is the capital of Israel? Jerusalem. What is the official name of Israel? State of Israel. What is the currency of Israel? New Shekel. What is the official language of Israel? Hebrew. What is the national symbol of Israel? Menorah. What is the national anthem of Israel? Hatikvah, the hope. Israel was named after which person? Answer is Jacob. When National Day is observed in Israel? On 14th May. What is the national flower of Israel? The Cyclamen. What is the national tree of Israel? The olive. What is the national bird of Israel? The hoopoe. What is the national animal of Israel? Israeli gazelle. What is the national intelligence agency of Israel? Mossad. What is the ancient name of Israel? Judah. When King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon conquered Judah? In 597 BC. King Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed which temple during the invasion? Solomon's Temple. What was the period in Jewish history during which a number of people from Judah were captives in Babylon? The Babylonian captivity or Babylonian exile. When did Babylonian exile start? In 597 BC. When did the Jews return from exile in Babylon? In 538 BC. How did the Jews return from exile? Cyrus the Great captured Babylon. When did Rome capture Israel? In 63 BC. When the Jews of Judea rose in revolt against Rome, naming their new state Israel. In 66 AD. When the Jews were finally defeated in Jews-Roman War. In 136 AD. When the Arab army led by Muawiyah I conquered Israel. In about 635. When the First Crusade took Jerusalem and established a Catholic kingdom. In 1099. What was the name of the Catholic kingdom established in 1099? Kingdom of Jerusalem. When did Sultan Saladin defeat the Crusaders? In 1187. Sultan Saladin defeated the Crusaders in which battle? Battle of Hattin. When Israel was conquered by Turkish Sultan Selim I. Between 1516 and 1517. What was the major wave of Jewish immigration to Ottoman Palestine between 1881 and 1903? The first Aliyah. What is the movement that espouses the establishment of a Jewish state? Answer is Zionism. When did the Zionism movement start? In 1897. Who was the founder of the modern Zionist movement? Theodor Herzl. What was a small secret guard founded in 1907 by the Jews? Bargiora. What is the first Hebrew city in modern time? Answer is Tel Aviv. During the First World War, why Jews supported the Germans? Because they were fighting the Russians. Who took over Palestine and Israel after the downfall of Ottoman Empire? Answer is Britain. What was the public statement issued by the British during the First World War announcing support for the establishment of a Jewish state in Israel? The Balfour Declaration. When the Balfour Declaration was issued by the British government? In 1917. Who was Lord Balfour? Prime Minister of United Kingdom. What was the Zionist military organization of the Jews in Palestine from 1920 to 1948? Answer is Haganah. What was an agreement between Nazi Germany and Zionist German Jews signed on 25th August 1933? The Havana Agreement. What was a policy paper issued by Britain in response to the 1936-1939 Arab revolt in Palestine? The White Paper of 1939. What was the genocide of European Jews during the Second World War? The Holocaust. When the 1947-1948 civil war in Mandatory Palestine was started? 13th November 1947. When Israel declared its independence? On May 14, 1948. Which country recognized Israel first? USA. Which Muslim country recognized Israel first? Answer is Turkey. Which Arab Muslim country recognized Israel first? Answer is Egypt. When the civil war transformed into First Arab-Israel War? After the declaration of independent Israel. When the First Arab-Israeli War ended? 10th March 1949. When Israel was admitted as a member of United Nations? 11th May 1949. When the Second Arab-Israeli War was fought due to the Suez Crisis? In 1956. When the Third Arab-Israeli War started? 5th June 1967. What is the other name of the Third Arab-Israeli War? The Six-Day War. When Israel occupied the West Bank from Jordan and the Gaza Strip from Egypt? In 1967. What is the name of the Fourth Arab-Israeli War? Yom Kippur War or the Ramadan War? When the Ramadan War was fought? In October 1973. When were the Camp David Accords signed? In September 1978. What is the name of the legislature of Israel? The Knesset. What type of government is there in Israel? Unitary parliamentary constitutional republic. Who is the present president of Israel? Isaac Herzog. Who is the present prime minister of Israel? Naftali Bennett. Where Israel is located? Western Asia. What is the longest river of Israel? Jordan River. What is the highest mountain of Israel? Mount Tabor. What is the highest point in Israel? Mount Hermon. How many countries have land border with Israel? Answer is 5. What is the population of Israel? 9.053 billion. What is the religion of the people of Israel? Answer is Judaism. The people who follow Judaism are known as what? The Jews. Jewish people are also known as what? The Yahudi. What is the most sacred text of Judaism? The Torah. The Torah is written in which language? The Hebrew. Who is considered the father of Judaism? Abraham. What is the Jews' place of worship? The synagogue. Which all is the most religious site in the world for the Jewish people? Answer is Wailing Wall. Which city is sacred to Judaism, Christianity and Islam? Answer is Jerusalem. What was the old name of Jerusalem? Al-Quds. What was the great movement of Jews from all over the world to Palestine called? Answer is Aliyaj. What is the name of Israel's air defense system? Iron Dome. Which country supported Israel in the development of Iron Dome? Answer is USA. Golan Heights is a cause of discord between which countries? Syria and Israel. Who is the first woman Prime Minister of Israel? Golda Meir. Who was the primary national founder of the State of Israel and the first Prime Minister of Israel? David Ben-Gurion. Now some important fact about Israel. Israel is the only country in the world with a Jewish majority population. Israel is the home to the lowest point on earth. Israel is the only country in the world that uses kosher glue for its postage stamps. Israel has a lot of museums. Jerusalem has more than 2000 active archaeological sites. The Wailing Wall gets more than 1 million notes a year. Hebrew, the official language of Israel, was dead. Israel is the only country in the world that has a mandatory military service requirement for women. In 1952, the famous scientist Albert Einstein was offered the position of President of Israel. Approximately 1,000 letters arrive in Jerusalem annually addressed to God. Now some general fact about Israel. Thank you.